Good morning. What's up, everyone? It has been a while since I last recorded a video, and I thought about it. Why has it been so long since I recorded a video, and why does it take me so long to come up with a lesson? And I realized that it was because I walked into this with a mindset that I was only going to document things that were drastically changing my life, that were completely new. Um, and because of that, I essentially got blinded by chasing the big win that I didn't see the small wins that was happening. And let me know if you guys have felt that. But a lot of the times throughout my life, that's what I've been doing. I've been chasing after the big wins that I completely neglect the small wins. And whenever I don't see the big wins, I think that I'm not growing. I think that I'm not changing. And just this morning, I was thinking about it, and it made me realize that that's something that I need to change. That's a perspective I need to change. These videos make me a lot happier, and sets my mood up for sure. In just letting my thoughts out, and not only that, but also reinforcing the things that I learned throughout the whole day. So that's something that I want to keep myself accountable to post every day, whether it's a small win, whether it's something that I already know, but I'm adding on to a new perspective or a new point that makes it stronger. Learning isn't just learning about something new. Learning is also something about, learning is also reinforcing the things that you already know. That's the great thing about learning. Learning is essentially anything can be classified as learning. Even if I already know how to play basketball, I can still learn new things with basketball, even if it's small, even if I'm, you know what I mean? So I want to walk in with that mindset more. And yeah, so I wanted to actually update you guys in terms of some of the lessons that I've been learning for the past, I guess, week that I haven't recorded and talked to you guys. And one of the lessons is validation. I didn't realize how much validation has controlled me. I didn't realize that um, validation is something that has been embedded in my subconscious. A lot of the times, I do a lot of the things that I do, say a lot of the things that I do, rooting to get validation out of, with the intention of getting validation. And it's come to the point, and the reason why I said it's embedded in my subconscious, because it comes to the point where I don't even think about it looking like validation, but in reality, it is validation. And what I mean by this is, so 2 weeks, or no, last week, I was doing bad in terms of my outputs on work. My outputs has depleted, or went down, depleted. It went down about 60%. So 2 weeks before that, I was doing a good amount of calls. I was doing a good amount of dials, booking a lot of appointments. Yet last week, I dropped down to 60%. All the work that I did dropped down to 60%. And that was very, very concerning for my manager. So he reached out to me and he said, "Hey, Josh, how are you? How are you outside of life? How are you inside of life, inside of sales, outside of sales? Let me know. Talk to me." And I was telling him, "Yeah, I mean, I'm doing good. Um, outside of life, I'm extremely happy. I'm grateful that I'm doing a lot of the things um, that push me out of my comfort zone." And he was like, "Okay, okay, that's great." And I'm curious, and what's going on with inside of the offer? Like, how are you feeling about inside of the offer? And I told him that Uh, yeah, I mean, inside the offer, I'm doing well. I think I'm doing well. And then he was like, okay, I see. And of course, he dove deeper into it. And essentially, he told me, my outputs. And he told me how I dropped 60%. And he was like, yeah, I get that you're also, hanging out with your friends and doing all this and doing all that, but 60% is a lot. And I'm curious, like, why? Why did you drop that much? And I was just like, and that's when I was honest and I just said it from my heart. I'm getting discouraged. I'm getting discouraged that a lot of my appointments aren't showing up and it's affecting my show up rate. And because of that, I overthought about it. And it led to one thing. It led to, oh, my show up rates are low. My show up is below average, which is 40%. Because of that, my manager is going to see this. My manager is going to cut me. Because he's going to cut me already, I might as well not do it. I might as well not show up as often as I should be. And I told him that. I told him honestly from my heart that that's what I was thinking. And he was like, Josh, do you know what your show up rate is? And I said, no. And then he told me, your show up rate is 40%. And in that moment, it hit me. I was like, my show up rate is 40%. I'm worrying about something that isn't even true. And he told me, Josh, you're in your head. You're in your own way. Because you're in your head, you stop yourself from your potential. Because you're in your head, you live in this reality that is created in your head. Everything that you just told me didn't even manifest yet. So you tell me, is this something that you want to do? Or is this something that you just want to step away from? Is this something that you want to make excuses and make a reality that you want to live in your head? And in that moment, I just thought about it. I was like, wow, okay. I am really in my head. And if we can tie this back to the Bible, I was in my thoughts. I was listening to my heart. And in the Bible, it says, Jeremiah 17, verse 9, that the heart is deceitful and above all things and desperately wicked. So essentially, Satan fed me the thought, your show up rate is bad. Your show up rate is bad? You might as well not try. God can't help you with that. Your show up rate's already bad and your manager already took notice of that. You might as well quit. You might as well slowly quit. You might as well not show up as much. There's no point. The more appointments you're going to book, the more your show up rate is going to decrease. And your manager is going to be very, very upset at you. And inevitably, you're gonna get fired anyway. So you might as well just quit. Or you might as well just not put in effort. Live in the inevitable, Josh. And these were the thoughts that I subtly accepted. And I didn't realize that. I thought it was me. And I thought it was right. But at the end of the day, is it not true? Can God not change my show rate? Can God not even give my manager the heart to ask me, hey, what's going on? You're doing well in terms of your output, but your show rate is kind of low. What can I do to help you? And that's exactly what he did. My manager asked me, hey, Josh, you're so worried on your show up rate that it's affecting your output, that you're not being consistent. I'm not worried about the show up rate. I understand that this is the first month and it's a ramp up. So a lot of the leads that you're dialing are essentially colder. I get that. But I'm not giving you this call because of your show up rate. I'm giving you this call because you're not showing up consistent. And when I see you're not showing up consistent, I take that as this person is not on the same wavelength as me. Your consistency is something that only you can control. I can tell you how to do this, I can tell you how to do that, but your consistency is not something that I can control. I can't tell you how to show up. You have to determine that. That is something that you control. So Josh, tell me, do you want to show up consistently or not? It's that simple. And in that moment, I realized that he's right. He exposed my heart. And I'm not even quite sure if he's Christian or not, but I'm just emphasizing the fact that when it comes to spirituality, when it comes to Christianity, there's so many things that you can find in your daily life that ties it back to God. And in that moment, he exposed my heart. Do I not have faith that God can change me, that God can improve me, God can improve that show up rate, God can work in my manager to help me improve my show up rate? Or do I trust my thoughts that tell me to quit, that tells me to not move forward? And he was also touching up on how well I'm doing in terms of the Better Day channel. We have a Better Day channel where we like post every day how we're getting better every day. And I'm active on that a lot. And he told me, Josh, I see you always improving in terms of your life outside of the offer. And I want to ask you, genuinely, are you posting these to seek validation out of them? Or are you posting these for yourself? And that got me thinking, and that exposed my heart as well. Because a lot of the posts that I do within that, I'm thinking about how can I post this in a way where other people can see how great it is? What message can I relay that allows them to see how much I've grown? These are all for external validation. And this is still something I'm figuring out, why validation is so important for me. I thought I figured it out because, as a kid, I didn't like being alone. I went through a traumatic experience where essentially my brother left me and I was all alone, and it just led to very, very dark things. And because of that, I didn't want to be alone, so I much rather sacrifice me being authentic so that at least I have people around me. And that's what I think, that's what I want to think it is, but who knows? So yeah, like I'm always seeking validation, and at the end of the day, why do I need validation from this world when God has already given me the validation that I need? God has seen me as worthy enough for him to send his own son to die for me. God already knows me by my name. And why do I need validation from anybody else? I'm not saying this in a way where I hate everyone, because that's not the case at all. I'm saying this as in, why am I putting this as my idol? Why am I putting this before God? And I had a fellowship with my pastor about this, and he told me that God will give you the people that validates you. You don't need to go out there and seek it for yourself. In the same way, just think about King David when he had to move away I forgot. When he had to, when he was going to the general of, I forgot. But essentially, he asked me, if King David killed Saul, what would happen? The people under Saul would hate him. So God allowed King David to get away from the Israelites and camp in that city. Philistines camped in the Philistines. I don't know specifically where, but he was basically living with the Philistines. And then David was talking to the Philistines, saying, "Hey, let me go to war so I can kill King Saul." Yet um, the Philistines said no. And by the time he came back to where he was staying at, a lot of his tribe, a lot of his followers were taken by the Amalekites. And why did God allow this? God allowed this so that David can pursue them, go to the Amalekites. And when David went to pursue them and found the Amalekites, he basically got rid of them. Yet he also gained a lot of the goods that Amalekites had, right? And because of that, during the war with the Philistines and King Saul died. He killed himself. And in that moment, Israel had no king. And the only person that was willing to help the Israelites was King David with the goods. And how did King David help? He sent the goods from the Amalekites that he just conquered, sent it to the Israelites. And in that moment, the Israelites, in their hearts, were so grateful because someone took care of them when they just lost a king. So my pastor asked me, "Josh, do you see now why God allowed King David to go through what he went through? If King David followed his thoughts and killed Saul immediately, the Israelites would not be following him and seeing him as king, or the Israelites that followed Saul. So in the same sense, Josh, just move forward. Move forward and trust in your heart that God will take care of everything for you. You don't need to do anything. All you need to do is just move forward. If anything, I would recommend you just blindfold yourself and move forward. Obviously, don't do that when you're driving and, living life, but spiritually, in your heart, do that. And yeah, at the end of the day, God brought the validation to King David. All King David did was move forward with God. So that gave me a lot of peace, knowing that, you know what, you're right. I don't need to do anything in terms of seeking for validation. God will give me the people to validate for me. And I still struggle with that, and that's okay, because I have this flesh. And in due time, God will root it out of me. Another lesson that I've learned is the importance of gaining a heart. Now, what does gaining a heart mean? That is a spiritual term. That is a term that we use in our church, where essentially gaining a heart is serving other people. And I'm saying serving other people with the heart, with the intention of you not mattering. In Genesis 2, it says that we are made out of dirt. God made us out of dirt. Dirt is nothing. Dirt is stepped on. Dirt is shitted on. Imagine that. Shit is something that is above dirt. Dirt is lowly. And the reason why God did that is because at the end of the day, we are made of dirt. We are made of dirt. God allowed that because that allows us to depend on something to make us more beautiful, which is the seed, which is the Word of God. And when the more humble you are, and I'm not talking about you make yourself humble, I'm talking about humility, true humility, genuine humility. The more humble you are in your heart, the more you're able to gain someone's heart, because you're not thinking about yourself. However, the more arrogant you are, you can't gain someone's heart, because all you do is think about yourself. So, in that sense, when it comes to gaining someone's heart, my pastor, he told me that continue living spiritual life, and through spiritual life, you inevitably come to a heart of humility. in spiritual life, it will just expose and show you how lowly you are, how lacking you are. But it doesn't just leave you there. It guides you back to God. It guides you back to depending on God, and through that, God works through you. A lot of the times, I struggle with wanting to look better, wanting to be better, wanting to appear better. Yet, my pastor has given me this specific verse multiple times. And that night when I had fellowship with him, it definitely hit my heart that I need to hold on to this word. 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 27. But God hath chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise. And God hath chosen the weak things of the world to confound the things which are mighty. At first I didn't know what confound meant. And until I searched it up, confound means breaking one's expectation. Causing confusion. So what does this verse mean? But God hath chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise. In this world, there are people we consider wise. Yet God doesn't choose these people that are wise. God chooses the foolish things to work for him. How beautiful is that? In these moments where I want to appear good, me wanting to appear good means that I think that I'm foolish. If I am already rich, I don't want to appear rich. The only reason why I want to appear rich is because I am poor. So God had chosen the foolish things of the world. In moments in life where someone would think of me foolish, why can't I be grateful for that? If they think I'm foolish, what does that mean spiritually? What does that mean in God's eyes? He's choosing me. God had chosen the weak things of the world to confine the things that which are mighty. What does this mean? In moments where people say things that make me look weak, why can't I be grateful for that? Because God then chooses me as weak. Chooses me because I am weak. So this verse just gives me a lot of grace in appreciating the moments where it shows my weakness, the moments where it shows my foolishness. Because in that, God sees it as the perfect dirt for him to keep implanting his seeds, keep nurturing the seeds, and to grow out of that. So gaining the heart is essentially realizing I am foolish, I am weak. And because I am foolish and I am weak, who cares about what I think? Who cares about what I need in this moment? In this moment, what's important is to serve this person, to be their servant. Jesus, he was the highest. He came from heaven. Yet in this world, he came as a carpenter. He came as someone so low, someone to serve. But inevitably, people served him because God allowed that. But I'm not saying to become a servant so you can be served. No. I'm emphasizing God's and Jesus' heart. He came here to serve. He could have brought down heaven to cast us out, to fight us, to bring war. Yet his heart was to become a servant. So he got beaten, he got spat on, he got yelled at, he got crucified. That's what it is to gain a heart. To think about others before yourself. To truly, truly believe in your heart that you're not important in this case. They are. They need it more than you. These are some of the lessons that I've learned throughout the past days, the ones that stick out. As I walk into this next week, I want to keep myself accountable that I'm going to be posting every day, whether this is reaffirming a lesson, reinforcing a lesson, or something new. Throughout the day, I just want to be a lot more open-minded as well when it comes to what is something new or what is something that I learned today. Whether it's small, whether it's big, I think it's very important for me to do this because it helps me just learn the lesson a lot more, being able to describe and put it in words and put it in essentially, how do I explain this? A process to gather my thoughts and organize my thoughts. So I do appreciate, as always, these talks. And yeah, I hope you guys have an amazing day. And as always, I love you guys and I appreciate you guys. See ya.